Hello everyone, welcome to another video. In today's video, I'm going to show you how easy it is to remove objects in Adobe After Effects. So I hope you're doing well. It's nice to see you back here on the channel. If you're already subscribed, thanks again so much for your support and for being here. If you're not subscribed yet, I create weekly content on filmmaking, video editing tutorials, gear review for photo and video. If you think that's something you'll be into, please hit that subscribe button now. Thank you for supporting. Have you been in a situation where you've captured good footage, but then there is just that one thing in the shot that you wish you could remove? Now you can do that in After Effects using Content Aware Fill, which was previously only available in Photoshop. Around spring of 2019, Adobe introduced this in Adobe After Effects, so you can now actually remove objects in your video footage. How many times have you been in a situation where you're in a nice scenery, you have a nice view, and then there's that one tourist that's messing up your shot? Well, anyways, now you can get rid of that object or that person. So let's fire up Adobe After Effects. And just to make sure, you need to be in the version of After Effects of 2019 spring or newer. This is footage that I shot in Iceland a few years ago. Everything looks pretty cool except for that orange or yellow truck right here in the corner. To remove that, you have to access Content Aware Fill, which is on the right side right here. And if you can't see it, you can go on Window and select Content Aware Fill. So the first thing you're going to do right now is draw a mask around this truck. And there's a few ways you could do that. You can draw a circle around it, you can draw a rectangle around it, and for this to work more effectively, it's better to draw a pen tool roughly the shape of the object that you want to remove. So with the layer selected right here, we'll click on the pen tool and draw a rough mask around this truck. Alright, so we have this truck right here. Next thing you have to do is go into mask and make sure that you have it as subtract, because that is what you want to take away. You want to subtract that truck from this shot. Next thing, you head over to your Content Aware Fill tab and you can play around with the alpha expansion. The alpha expansion lets you decide how much wiggle room you want to give After Effects to analyze that footage. And for the most part, I think about a 9 or a 10 would work. You can certainly play around with this value to see what works best for your footage. And in terms of fill method, I want to use object. I want to select object because I want to remove that object. So what Content Aware Fill does pretty much is it takes the surrounding of the whatever object you're selected and it tries to fill that empty space with its surrounding. And if you know how to use Photoshop, that's probably something you've seen all the time or that you've used all the time. Next, you can select range. You can select either the work area, which you can adjust right here. And in my case, I'll select the entire duration because this is the entire clip that I want to work with. Now, the next thing you want to do before you generate fill layer is that you want to track this mask because your truck is moving in the frame. The way you do that is just by adding a keyframe. If you're new to keyframes, what a keyframe really does is it lets you quote unquote animate whatever you're trying to do. So if you're trying to move something, it lets you add different values of that position at different points in time in that clip, therefore animating it or moving it. So let's go to the beginning of the clip and select mask path. Let's bring back to none so that I can see what I'm working with and I can see the hideous yellow truck that I want to remove. So let's move a little bit forward in time, and about here, that's when the truck seems to move away from the mask or outside of the mask. We'll go back to our selection tool and we'll click on the mask and we can move it up. Let's go a little bit forward on the clip. This is where it moves and I can adjust the position of the mask over there and drag it. Let's keep going a little bit forward and move the mask again. A little bit more, move it again. And up to the end of the clip. So before you go and generate fill layer, make sure that you change back the mask to subtract because this is what we want to do. Let's bring this back to the front and generate fill layer. And depending on the size of the object that you want to remove, it may take After Effects a bit of time to remove this object. So once this is analyzed, you can see here that After Effects created another layer called Fill, and this is pretty much just all the PNG images, all the images that After Effects automatically created to fill that empty space. If you play this back, you can see that After Effects does a pretty good job of removing that. And right now, as I'm playing this, there's no way that you can tell that there was a truck there. And if I hadn't tell you that there was a truck in this clip, or if you hadn't seen that this clip had a truck beforehand, you probably wouldn't be able to tell that this has been altered. If you had a more complicated clip that you needed to work with, you could also go and create reference frame. This is where you give After Effects a reference frame so it knows which object to remove. So let's test how After Effects performs if the object that you want to remove takes a lot more space in your frame. So we're going to use this clip when we have this person walking towards the abandoned plane in Iceland. So I already went ahead and did this for you, and this is what it looks like. So you can see that After Effects does a pretty good job again, even though this was a little bit harder to remove. It also took a lot more time waiting for After Effects to do its thing and to generate that fill layer. But you can see here that there are some artifacts that show up. And as well here, you can see on the floor near the end of the clip that it seems that there's some sort of blurred layer that covers some of the footprints right there. But overall, it does a pretty good job at removing the object, and with a little bit of fine tuning and a little bit of cleaning, or maybe you can make the mask a little bit more accurate to the object that you want to remove, I'm sure that After Effects can do a pretty good job at removing whatever you wanted to remove. So that was it for today, guys. I hope that you enjoyed this quick and easy tutorial on how to remove objects in Adobe After Effects. So I hope you enjoyed this quick tutorial, and if you found it useful, please consider subscribing if you haven't already. If you're already subscribed, thanks again for being here. And that is all for today, guys. Until next time.